And I'm going to show you some pictures of the glial cells and the ones that we're going to work with today. I'm not sure if you can see it. I mean, you'll get a general idea. This starfish thing here, this is a neuron, and the axon from it, the kind of nerve fiber coming from it is going up there, and this is myelin sheath or myelinating glial cells. So you've got two different cells there. You've got the neuron, the length of the neuron, and you've got myelinating glial cells. And then around here you've got like sea anemone type cells with hundreds of tentacles that are joining to everything else. These are called astrocyte cells. The neurons, they hold our intellect and are to do with our thinking mind. The astrocyte cells are probably more intelligent, but they're more of a universal energy and are not the intellect, but they have an intelligence and they actually govern the neurons. They're helping the neurons to work and the synapses to work, and they're a broader intelligence. The neurons are like telephone wires through these nerve fibers. The astrocyte cells with hundreds of tentacles, they're like cell phones. It's just spreading out in all directions through the whole brain, and the astrocyte cells are also the connective tissue that's holding the whole brain together. So we're going to work with astrocyte cells, we're going to work with neurons, which is more to do with the intellect, and we're going to work with this C, what I have named the cranial C, which is all of the fluid in the brain is 99% water, 1% glucose, salt and oxygen. So it's mainly water, and then there's also the fluid in the cells, which is water as well. And overall the whole brain is about 90% water, and the water in the brain is 99% water. So it's a very fluid thing. So your brain isn't as solid as you think. It's definitely not as solid as I think. So it's more like cranial sea, and the cells are more like seaweed that's floating in that sea and all connected by the astrocyte cells with their sticky pads that stick to everything around. If the astrocyte cells unstuck all of their tentacles so they weren't stuck to everything around, the brain would just turn to water. It would just be slushing around in your head. It would be a disaster. So they stick their tentacles to everything, and that holds it together. So when you're losing the plot, maybe it's because your astrocyte cells are disconnecting and you're falling apart. So anyway, I painted this just to show you the inside of your brain. There's also capillaries there. These are called ependymal cells. Then you've got the I'm dyslexic, I can't remember names. Ependymal cells, they're around the ventricles and the choroid plexus, and then the cells around the capillaries, I've forgotten their name, they're also intelligent, and the blood-brain barrier. These little cells that are swimming around like fish in it, these are microglial cells, and they're the immune system from them. They all have different energies, and we will be working with all of this and more in that webinar series. But in this today, we're going to work with the astrocyte cells, we're going to work with the cranial sea, and we're going to work with the neurons. Here is, not sure if you can see it, you've got a, if it's a bit hazy, this is a neuron here, and there's the nerve pathway. Here's another neuron. The nerve pathway comes out with myelinated, and then all tentacles come out and join to the other neuron. And these, you get these traveling through the brain and connecting to all the other neurons in different ways, and these paths kind of our intellect and patterns are all kind of coded into those. Now, to get this from the brain, it can go two ways. It can come down through the spine, work out through the muscles, work out through the arms and legs, and go into the organs. That's one way. That feels a little bit more male to me. And then another way, it comes out, this is the brain from the side, again painted by me. You've got the central brain complex, and the face is here, and all of the nerves to the face and the vagus nerve come out of this central brain complex. They come to the face and they come to the vagus nerve, and the way we will be connecting to the vagus nerve, a lot to the thyroid and down through the organs, is we're aware of the energy in the brain, we're aware of that, and we can let it go down through the spine and out through the nerves and explore our nervous system that way. And the way to connect to the vagus nerve is you don't have to think or try and contact the vagus nerve. You just let the energy, the same, we're going to start in the face and then drop back into the brain, and then still being in the brain and viewing from what, we're going to allow the energies to come through into the face, and that's going to travel through all of the cranial nerves coming out of the central brain complex. So automatically, as you become aware of your face, all of the energy will come out from this central brain complex through the nerves into the face, but it will also automatically connect to the vagus nerve, and you'll feel that working down through the throat, through the thyroid, through the organs. So you get a different connection, feels more female to me. So that's it from the side. Here it is without the cerebrum. You've got the cerebrum there, but this, you've got the thalamus, the midbrain, the pons, the medulla oblongata. This is the central brain complex, and all of these cranial nerves to the face and the vagus nerve come out of that central brain complex. Now, it won't mean much in this free webinar. I mean, this is a mine of information. This isn't your normal free webinar. This is for new people and for everybody, but it's also the diving board for people who want to do the advanced webinar. So it is in depth, it is powerful, and there is a lot we're working with. Now, the astrocyte cells stay to the central brain complex. They don't go out through, not through the brain, yeah, the central, whatever, the brain and the spinal cord, whatever that's called. Sorry, I am dyslexic. I can remember words and I start teaching, they're not there. But anyway, it's the brain and the spinal cord and around the spinal cord. The astrocyte cells stay to that. They don't go out through the nerves, but they do relate to the connective tissue out through the nerves. But in the brain and the spinal cord, the astrocyte cells are the yellow energies that we work with in the advanced web. The yellow energies are very much to do with the stomach, the spleen, but also the whole digestion. So when we're working with the astrocyte cells, you may feel this automatically healing your stomach, healing your solar plexus, healing your organs and digestion. It's very much the energy around your abdomen. So you may heal it, feel that very much. When we get to the neurons and the nerve pathways, this is more to do with the brain, and it does go out through the nerves, and the myelinating glial cells go out through them, and the cranial C goes out through the nerves. So the cranial C and the neurons do go out further into the body, and it starts off with you feel the quality of the intellect, but after a while that just turns into light and a higher connection to the higher self. But the astrocyte cells, the yellow energy circuit, relate to yellow energy organs, the sexual energies, it's the clitoris, erectile tissue of the penis. The cranial C is more to do with the lung circuit, and that also relates to the lymph and the whole immune system. And then the neurons are more to do with the brain and the higher energy circuit. Now that may not mean much to new people, but you will realize they are different energies. And once you get a feel from this, what you will be able to do from this is, you know, you can get it with those different cells, but also you, after a while, hopefully, I mean, I had this from the beginning. This is how I healed Lyme disease. This came through when I was dying of Lyme disease, and I used this to heal Lyme disease by healing my brain. But rather than having your whole emphasis here for the breath, you start being able to have your emphasis here, and then everything below. This is orchestrating the breath, and the whole breath slows down. From here it's a bit more frantic, but when it includes this, it kind of includes, it feels like you become an ET, feels like you become a higher form of consciousness, and your breath follows. It becomes much softer and more refined, and you more connected to the higher self, and that is downloading through your body. It doesn't mean you have to stay here all of the time, but you can have the emphasis here, you can have the emphasis in the abdomen, or you can have the emphasis here, or you can have the emphasis here. So, but few people are able, I don't think you can do this with anything but holographic breathing. I really am giving you holographic breathing. If you work with it, will change your life. I know no other breathing system that has the depth, has the profundity, has the possibility of opening up into new realms as holographic breathing. It's not just some healing exercise. It is of the beyond. It is of the divine. It is of the new age. And if you work with it, it is a phenomenal thing. I mean, as I said at the beginning, I don't know why the whole world isn't doing this. Maybe when I die, probably I just haven't got the energy to hold that, and I'm just happy with my own little group. But once I'm gone, maybe the whole world will do it. And they'll be saying, shit, why didn't I do that with Martin when he was alive? But there you go. You're the lucky ones. I will describe holographic breathing again. I will demonstrate it, and then in the meditation I will be describing it again anyway, because I will be talking you into it bit by bit, because you can't just do holographic breathing. It's an initiation. Just takes you through different ways of doing it till it just starts. And then we will be working with the different energies in the brain using holographic breathing. So holographic breathing, the lips are relaxed and closed all of the time. The tongue, upper surface of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth all of the time. The breath is through the nose with the lips closed and the tongue on the roof of the mouth. On the in-breath, the jaw gently opening, and on the out-breath, the jaw gently closing. And it's a small motion of the jaw, 2 or 3 millimeters, 1/4 of an inch, half a finger width. It's small, relaxed motion. I will demonstrate it again. and it instantly takes you into a new place. It instantly takes you into a deeply meditative place. For the new people, if you're learning this for the first time, do it seated, not lying down. If you try and learn this lying down, you will probably go to sleep before the initiation, unless you listen to all of the different tuition to learn it and get the activation, then you won't be doing holographic breathing. So it's best to be seated. If you actually want to learn it, it's best to be seated, to pay attention, and then once you've got it, once it's going, once it's natural, you can do it lying down, upside down, walking, however you want to do it. But to get that initiation, best to be seated, because you're more likely to stay awake that way. All right, we are going to start. Closing your eyes. And if you know holographic breathing, gently breathing with holographic breathing. If you don't know holographic breathing, just breathing gently in your own way. Sending a smile, sending some energy to the earth, and allowing the earth to say hello back. Notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self and the beneficial energies, any divine teachers, divine beings, higher intelligences, angels, whatever you want to work with, long as it's beneficial, and allowing those energies to say hello back. And notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And asking the earth, the higher self, and the beneficial energies to be with you through this whole webinar as your guide, as your resource, and as your healing. Okay, so we are going to start now learning holographic breathing. So relaxing the lips are relaxed and closed. The tongue comes to the roof of the mouth. The tip of the tongue will be close to or touching the front teeth, and then having as much of the tongue on the roof of the mouth as feels comfortable. Maybe half an inch on the roof of the mouth, maybe a whole inch of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, or the whole tongue on the roof of the mouth. But it must feel comfortable, not forcing anything. Just have as much of the tongue on the roof of the mouth as feels comfortable, and the tip of the tongue touching or close to the front teeth. Breathing through your nose. And now, just to get the experience that you can move the jaw and keep the lips closed, just bouncing the jaw up and down, small motions of the jaw, a bit like chewing, so you can get the experience that you can move the jaw and keep the lips closed. And then lighten that movement, relax that movement, and slow it down. So your jaw is still moving up and down in a very gentle way, just a small motion. Start really slowing that down. And then when you feel ready, as the jaw is relaxing open, allow the breath to come in through your nose. And as the jaw is relaxing closed, allow the breath to leave through your nose. The jaw relaxes open, the breath comes in through your nose. The jaw relaxes closed, the breath leaves through the nose. The lips stay closed all of the time. The tongue stays on the roof of the mouth all of the time. The jaw relaxes open, the breath comes in through the nose. The jaw relaxes closed, the breath leaves through the nose. It feels like a little bellows. So the jaw is opening, it's drawing the breath in through the nose. As the jaw is closing, it's expelling the breath through the nose. So the nose is like the nozzle on the bellows. The jaw gently opens, that's like the bellows opening, and all the breath comes in through the nose. The jaw relaxes closed and all the air comes out through the nose. Relax the back of your neck, relax the back of your head. As the jaw is closing, as the teeth are floating together, they just gently touch. There's no pressure. You're not closing the jaw, it's just relaxing back together, and the teeth are either slightly separate or just touching. The jaw relaxes open, the breath comes in, the jaw relaxes closed, the breath leaves through the nose. Now we're going to change the gestalt. We're going to become aware of the breath and let the breath move the jaw. Breathing in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. So it feels like the breath is moving the jaw. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. Notice how everything softens, how it gets much more relaxed and spiritual and energetic. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. Now we're going to integrate that with the body. As the chest opens, it brings the breath in through the nose, and the jaw follows. The jaw opens. Breathing out, the chest closes, and the jaw follows. It follows the movement of the chest. Breathing in, the chest opens, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the chest closes, the jaw relaxes closed. Breathing in, the abdomen relaxes open. Breathing out, the abdomen closes, the jaw closes. Notice how you can get a lovely, deep and easy breathing motion in your abdomen. Breathing in, the abdomen is opening, the jaw follows along with it. Breathing out, the abdomen closes, the jaw closes with it. Breathe right down into your pelvis. Pelvis opening out on the in-breath. Notice you can feel that right through the pelvic floor. The jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the pelvis closes. The jaw relaxes closed. You can feel it through your whole torso. Whole torso, breathing in, the whole torso opens. The jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the whole torso closes. The jaw relaxes closed. You can feel it through your arms and legs as you breathe in, your arms and legs relaxing open. You're breathing out, the arms and legs closing. You can feel it in your hands and feet. Hands and feet, just feel this subtle breath opening in your hands and feet. And the jaw is relaxing open. The out breath, hands and feet gently closing, the jaw is gently closing. Notice this motion hasn't just stayed with the jaw, the sinuses, the nasal passageways, the cheeks, the face, the whole eyes and face have subtly started to breathe. And your cranium has started to breathe. The back of your head has started to breathe. Your neck and throat has started to breathe. So if you are just learning for the first time, it should be fairly automatic now. And if you want to lie down, you can. If you want to stay seated, you can, whatever feels best. So this very subtle breath, you can feel it through every cell in your body, every cell opening on the in-breath, every cell closing on the out-breath. And from the jaw and the mouth, it's this very physical breath. Connects to your bones, connects to your abdomen. And then if you move up into the sinuses and nasal passageways, notice it more relates to the chest and the heart. It's the emotional center. Becomes much move up a level. And then if you move up between the eyes, it's like this bright flashing light, and out into the eyes, this connects more to your brain. Top of your face connects to the top of your body. You feel the whole face breathing, not just the mouth, the whole face is breathing, the whole body is breathing. Just relaxing, letting yourself relax and be still and meditative. Just let yourself drop into it. Letting your whole face breathe. And becoming aware of the ears opening out on the in-breath, closing on the out-breath, very subtly. The ears opening out to the sides as you breathe in, coming back in on the out-breath. And this brings you from the face into your brain. And from the sides of your head, you can drop back right into the back of your head. So now you're viewing from the back of your head rather than the front of your face. And in front of you, you've got the brain, got the cerebrum at the top, the cerebellum at the bottom, the brainstem. You've got the whole brain there, and it's 90% water, the cranial sea, 99% water. It drops down through the spinal cord, which is below you. So you can feel that sea breathing and being ventilated by the breath, ventilating and detoxing all of your brain cells. Very nice quality of the cranial sea. It drops down through your spine. This cranial sea also spreads out through all of your nerves. You sit back right into the back of your head. You can feel this cranial sea breathing through your whole brain, through your spine, out through your nerves, through all of your organs, through your arms and legs, and it also flows out through the nerves into the face. You can allow it flowing through all the cranial nerves into the face. You feel all of that energy flowing into your face. And as you come more to the mouth and tongue, this opens up the vagus nerve. And all of that cranial sea starts flowing down your neck, through the thyroid, through the thymus gland, around the heart and lungs, and down into the organs. You can still be sat at the back of your head, viewing from the back of your head, viewing it flowing through your face. Automatically, as you view it coming into your lower face, it will start flowing down through your vagus nerve and through your organs, healing your organs and your genitalia. The cranial sea flowing out through your nerves. And then in this cranial sea, there's all of these sea anemones with hundreds of tentacles. The astrocyte cells, this is the connective tissue, and the unthinking mind, it's the intelligence of the beyond, it's the lateral intelligence. It's intelligence, but it's not the intellect. You can feel all of the astrocytes, all of their tentacles joining to everything through the brain and through the spinal, floating in the cranial sea. And you can feel there is not a thinking mind to them, but they are intelligent. This, you may feel a yellow quality. These connect to the yellow energies, and they connect your solar plexus to your abdomen. Soon as you start feeling them, you may feel it start healing through your abdomen, the organs, the abdomen. Also through the heart and lungs. And it's this unthinking intelligence. It just connects to the universal energies as an intelligence, but it's not the intellect. It bypasses the intellect. The cranial sea, the astrocyte cells bypass the intellect, connect to the divine realms, the higher self, heal your organs, your digestion, your solar plexus. Feel them floating, very blissful, grounded space of the astrocyte cells. You may stay in your brain, or you may sink down into the back of your neck, but you're still aware of the brain, of the cranial sea, of the astrocyte cells. Just enjoying that energy, letting that heal through you. This is deep, meditative. This will take you out of the thinking brain and into the organic brain, into the peristalsis of the organs and everything working outside of the thinking mind. Just connect to your astrocyte cells. They will connect to all of the workings of your body. And your digestion. And give you a deep breath into your abdomen. And then you can start becoming aware of the neurons, the nerve fibers, all joining together. You know what they are. They have the myelin sheath or the myelinating glial cells around them. Notice this is a very different quality. It has the energy of the intellect and the thinking mind. But you are viewing it rather than being it. And these nerve fibers join up to each other through the whole brain, through the spine, and then out through the nerves, reaching out through every part of the body. And they're floating in the cranial sea in the central nervous system. And then as they go out through the nerves, the myelinating glial cells are full of cranial sea, so they're floating in cranial sea as they spread out through the nerves. So you've got the neurons and nerve fibers floating in cranial sea, spreading out through the whole body. And these are much more to do with the intellect, but they transcend the intellect. By viewing them, you are no longer them, and it connects to the higher self. Just being with that quality and the quality of the higher self, and allowing them to spread out through the face and the lower face, and you'll feel them starting to activate the thyroid, and you may feel them into your genitalia and ovaries and testes. They will work through the whole endocrine system, and at the bottom of the endocrine system you have the ovaries and testes. Sitting back in your brain, in the cranial sea, and the neurons floating in the cranial sea, and the nerve fibers floating in the cranial sea that's in the myelinating glial cells as it spreads out through your whole body. There's a synergy between the neurons and the myelinating glial cells that wrap around the nerve fibers. And breathe, and notice how you've started to become accustomed to the intelligence and breath of the brain, and that you can sit back in the brain or the back of the neck, and there's this whole new reality and this whole new way of breathing that is deeply relaxing and takes you beyond the mind and connects you to the divine realms. So you can sit back in your brain and you can become aware of this subtle, higher intelligence of the brain and the connection to the divine realms. You can let that spread out through your whole body, healing your whole body. It especially heals the thyroid. People are normally breathing below the thyroid, so once you get above it, you can feel all of this energy moving down, healing through your face, healing through your thyroid, and this is the vagus nerve breathing. So all of the glial cells breathing, the cranial sea breathing, letting that flow out through you. Down through your arms, down through your legs, in a relaxed way, however feels good, connecting to the divine realms. Notice you've found a new place in yourself. You've found a higher breath in yourself, and you have to be very sensitive to feel it. You have to be very delicate. You don't want to overwhelm this system. It's very much like an agile ET quality. It's the ET part of ourselves, gently breathing and allowing that quality, that higher intelligence, much more sensitive. You're not breathing it from the lungs, from the chest, from the face. It has its own breath within its own cells, which are higher breath than the rest of the body, and moves down through the body, making the whole body a much gentler, softer, slower, divine breathing. Just allowing that and the connection to the divine realms, connection to the earth. Just enjoying that breath. You can allow yourself to sink down in your body. You're still aware of your brain, but you can be more around your chest or more around your abdomen. But notice it's like you've opened a room that you didn't have before, a space that you can breathe of that you couldn't access before. It's like you've got this extra room in your head that you can be and breathe, letting everything settle. Become aware of the lower back of the head, the lower back of the jaw, the sit bones, the lower shoulder blades, the heels of the hands, the heels of the feet. Gently breathing, gently grounding, letting everything earth, and sending a thank you to the earth, sending a thank you to the higher self and beneficial energies, and thanking yourself for participating. letting the energies go off for love and healing to the earth, for love and healing to the higher self and the beneficial energies, and allowing yourself to be loved and healed. And when you feel ready, gently allow yourselves to come back. So wave your hands if you enjoyed that. Brilliant. I did too. If you are new, wave your hands if you managed to learn holographic breathing. Brilliant. Well, the only 2, 3. Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Wave your hands if you think holographic breathing is definitely the best breathing. No one. Oh, some people do. Brilliant, brilliant. I do. Actually, I don't know. I don't do other ones. I try them. I'm not against them. I do them, but I don't feel enthralled. I guess maybe because I've brought through holographic breathing and it's just kind of me. That's just what I do. So this, we're going to go into this in a great deal of depth. There's a 7 webinar series. My webinar series are about half price what webinars normally are. They're actually cheaper. I started doing webinars 7 or 8 years ago and they were £14 for a 2-hour webinar. They're now £12 for a 2-hour webinar. So they're not expensive. You can do that full series. I think it's £84. And it will more than likely change your life. It will give you, and everything's recorded so you can listen to them as many times as you want, and we progress with the spiritual energies. It unfolds spiritually as we move along. So if you want to do that, everyone is welcome. Will be having more free webinars. There's loads of free videos on YouTube, so you can do those. And if you wish to come to the advanced ones and take it into more depth, you can. And there will also be a practitioner training starting in about 3 weeks. So if you want to do a practitioner training, that will be there. I think that's it. That's my advertisement done, over. And do YouTube and Rumble, plethora of free videos. I think that's it. Let me find my headphones. Wave your hands if you've got an extra room in your brain now. Great. Well, one person had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Quite a few people have got an extra brain in their rooms. Don't tell a doctor that, by the way, or a psychiatrist. They'll want to lock you up, or that you're hearing voices or can listen to your own intellect. You won't get out of the doctor's surgery. All right, I'm gonna. There will be a newsletter going out. I will edit the recordings. It take a couple of days normally, and a newsletter will go out so you can have the recordings, so you can go over this. There'll be a newsletter telling you everything that's going on. I forgot why I was saying that. Yeah, well, look in your emails to make sure you get the newsletter and the recordings.